it's really easy to fall victim to the easy road, which produces a lack of confidence. And that easy road is, and it goes back to the things I talked about, is believing in the negative thoughts that you have. That is easy. Yes, it's difficult to deal with. It's hard. It's frustrating. It's hurtful. It's shameful at times. But do not succumb to the negative thoughts that fill your mind. And I'm going to talk about how to work through that here at the end. But as it relates to fighting against the first thing is do not believe the negative. Fight against believing in the negative. And second to that is do not succumb to who you are not.
Welcome to Authentic Conversations with Ryan James Miller. Join Ryan as he speaks with top business leaders and influencers and hear how they've mastered the art of authenticity to achieve all that they dreamed of. As you hear from these leaders, seek not only to be inspired by their authenticity, but to strive for and master your own.
What up, and welcome to another episode of Authentic Conversations. So I am solo again today, really starting to look forward to these individual or solo episodes just because it's been allowing me to share some of what I've been learning from my clients, from the work that I'm doing in coaching in group settings, and really sharing that with you. So really giving off some of that coaching benefit to just you that are listening to the podcast. Hopefully these types of things are helpful for you, apart from just my conversations with guests, which have been great as well. Hope you've been listening to those. My episode last week with JC Cummings was just fantastic. And some of the episodes that I have teed up over the next couple of weeks are going to be phenomenal. Which, by the way, if you've been listening for a while, if you like this podcast, I would love it if you would share it with somebody else out there that you feel like would benefit from the conversations I'm having, these individual episodes, combination of the two. So thanks so much for doing that. And we're going to get right into this specific episode. So I wanted to talk to you about confidence, really share with you a little bit about confidence. And it's this idea of gaining confidence and maintaining confidence and building confidence. And this was really birthed off of some conversations that I've been having recently with some of my coaching clients in which they're struggling with confidence. They don't just come out and say it that way, though, and I'm pretty sure that you wouldn't necessarily come out and say that. Maybe some of you would, but most wouldn't. So typically what I hear people say, and even this is not direct, it's more alluded to or something that I'm pulling out of what they're saying, but I typically hear something along the lines of, sometimes I end up finding myself being somebody that I'm not. Or I'm concerned to be myself or be authentic is what a lot of people say to me because it's the word I use. Sometimes I find myself struggling to be authentic in this specific environment. So either I'm finding myself acting as or behaving as somebody that I'm not, or I'm struggling to be the person I want to be because of the environment I'm in. And there are a lot of reasons why that's the case, but specifically today, I want to talk about why I believe confidence is such a huge component to those two challenges and how you can work through them. So 4 things that I want to talk specifically about that I want to help you think through as you continue to gain confidence, build confidence. And by the way, you've probably heard me say this before, but the best definition I've ever heard of confidence, and the one that I use as often as possible for myself, my clients, my kids, is confidence is knowing that your best is good enough. Confidence is knowing your best self, your best effort, your best whatever is good enough. That's ultimately where I believe we have the most stability and confidence is in that idea. So 4 things that I want to talk about, 4 things that I think are helpful for you, whether you relate to the statements I made earlier about being something that you're not or being afraid to be the person you want to be, or you're just struggling overall with confidence. And so 4 things that I want to talk about. Number 1, fight against the easy road. Fight against the easy road. And you may be thinking to yourself, like, what do you mean? Confidence is not easy. And you're right, it's not. It's actually really difficult to be self-confident in a good and healthy way. Cockiness, a-holeness, those things don't count. Better than somebody else, better than everybody else, those things aren't confidence. Confidence itself is very, very difficult to build and maintain, but it's really easy to fall victim to the easy road, which produces a lack of confidence. And that easy road is, and it goes back to the things I talked about, is believing in the negative thoughts that you have. That is easy. Yes, it's difficult to deal with. It's hard. It's frustrating. It's hurtful. It's shameful at times. But do not succumb to the negative thoughts that fill your mind. And I'm going to talk about how to work through that here at the end. But as it relates to fighting against the the first thing is do not believe the negative. Fight against believing in the negative. And second to that is do not succumb to who you are not. That is easy. You know, I coach a lot of guys, and when I'm coaching guys, I often find that these guys end up in environments that they are not proud of, but they're there because their buddies are there. Trash talking, making fun of other people, acting like the tough guy, bad mouthing their spouse or significant other. Like, that's garbage anyway. But if that's not you, if you believe that you're a better person, a better man than that, you've gotta turn and run from those things. It's too easy. It's too easy to be in that environment with your buddies and to join in the conversation. If that's not who you are, get out. It's just no more plain and simple than that. That's the easy road. Confidence is difficult. Confidence is challenging. Do not succumb to the easy road. That's number 1. Number 2, if you want to be confident in who you are and ultimately in what you're producing, you've got to know who you are. And so you've heard me probably talk about this before on the podcast or in some other channel that I've spoken in or written in. But in order to be confident in who you are, you need to know who you are, meaning you need to define your purpose, your principles, and your passions. I can't get into that too much here today. I'm trying to keep this episode pretty succinct, but very briefly, I believe each person is put here for a very specific reason. I believe every single person in this world has a specific purpose by which they are walking this earth. Seek to discover that. Seek to understand why you are here. Passions, what gets you out of bed? What fires you up? What excites you? What are you willing to walk to the ends of the earth for? Those are your passions. Principles. What are the characteristics and behaviors that are non-negotiables for you? Like that's who you are. It's what you believe in. It's what you hold fast to. Those are your principles. So if you want to build confidence, you need to know who you are. And knowing who you are is about understanding your purpose, your passions, and your principles. There's more to it than that, but that is a huge component to it. So spend time defining those things. Spend time writing down those things that are important to you. Those things that you believe make you who you are or help to define who you are. All right, next one. And like I said, this is a quick episode today. I'm just trying to blow through these so you can get a good concept to really help you build confidence. Number 3, if you want to build confidence, if you want to maintain confidence, you must practice self-awareness. Now, self-awareness is something that has been talked about for years and years and years. It's something that has been redefined as EQ, emotional intelligence, a lot, or a component to emotional intelligence. But at the end of the day, to keep it as simple as possible, practicing self-awareness and being self-aware is about understanding who you are and then understanding how other people see you to be. That's going to be the best way. It's this exercise of reflection, self-reflection and others' reflection of you. It's like walking around with a mirror. We often believe that we're a certain way, but then we act differently in certain environments. And so that's a challenge. So we want to spend time becoming more self-aware, to understand who we truly are, how we're truly acting, what we're really saying. The more that we do that, the more capable we will be of being confident in who we are. We have to know who we are and then understand how we're behaving in order to be confident in that person. To walk into the room and be confident. To stand our ground on an issue and be confident. We must have a good, solid level of self-awareness. Many of you believe that you have this, and I'm going to tell you right now, the majority of you do not. It is something that takes constant work and constant practice. And it often takes the work of somebody else objectively looking into your life and being able to help evaluate whether or not who you think you are is who you really are. So self-awareness is extremely important. And that's the third thing that's going to help you build the confidence that you need to be the real you, to be authentic. All right. Lastly, number 4. I talked about this earlier, and the reason that I saved this for the end is because this is going to be the day-to-day simple practice that's going to help build the confidence you need to be the person that you want to be. So I've talked about fighting against the easy, right? Don't just succumb to being a part of the crowd. Don't succumb to the negative thoughts. I talked about defining principles, passions, purpose. Talked about becoming more self-aware. Those things are all going to help us build confidence. And then the day-to-day practice around confidence is against fighting the negative self-talk, the negative thoughts that constantly penetrate our mind. I don't care how good you think you are. I don't care how good you are. You are fighting against negative self-talk. This happens all the time. Athletes fight with this all the time. But we as human beings, we all fight the fight of trying to war against the negative self-talk and the negative thoughts that creep into our mind, that tell us that we're not good enough, that we're not smart enough, that we're not good looking enough, that we're not strong enough, that we're not capable enough, that we're not enough. And really, we need to be done with all of that. And one of the simple ways that we can overcome this is by replacing a negative thought with a positive truth. Hear me when I say that again. Replace a negative thought with a positive truth. You know, just replacing negative thoughts with positive thoughts doesn't work. This is self-help 101 in a lot of circles is, you know, when a negative thought creeps into your mind, just think of something positive. Think happy thoughts. They don't last. Because oftentimes they're just these ideas that we throw out. The best gift that you can give yourself in fighting negative self-talk and negative thoughts and negative doubt that you have inside of yourself, the best way to fight against that is to speak positive truth. To reflect back on good things you've done, on accomplishments that you've made, on affirmations that other people have given you. That is the best way to overcome that fight. the more that we can speak truth, again, the truth of who we are, the truth of what we've done, the more that we can speak that truth to ourselves, the more confident we're going to be in ourselves. This is ultimately what is going to allow us to be that authentic man or woman that we desire to be. So again, just as a quick recap, and I'm done, and I'm stoked that this one went pretty quick for you today, but I think that this is something that everybody needs to deal with, and yet few people really take the time to work through. They want to fight it. They want to fight that doubt. They want to fight that lack of confidence, but they just don't put in the time. So again, quick recap. If you want to fight against this fear of being the person that you want to be, or you find yourself being something that you're not, four things that you can work through, not simple, but very straightforward. 4 things that you can work through. Number 1, fight against the easy road. Do not succumb to the things that will just easily creep in, or the behaviors that you can easily find yourself falling into that war against who you really are. That's number 1. Number 2, define your purpose, your principles, and your passions. I call those foundations. Number 3, practice self-awareness. Become more self-aware. Learn and grow in that area. And number 4 is replace negative thoughts with positive truths. If you do those 4 things, I deeply believe that you will become more confident in who you are. And ultimately, that is one of the greatest gifts that we can give ourselves. So continue to fight that fight. Be as confident as you can possibly be. But more than that, be you, be happy, be authentic. Thank you guys so much for continuing to listen, for supporting the podcast, for supporting other channels out there. I've got some exciting stuff coming, so be on the lookout. But in the meantime, share this with somebody else that would benefit from becoming more confident in who they are. Thanks so much. Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you for listening to Authentic Conversations with Ryan James Miller. If you found value in today's episode, please subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and share it with others. To connect with Ryan and learn more, visit ryanjamesmiller.com.